There are some fantabulous cars out there that you can just like stuff some big old
turb skis on, get some intake, maybe wheels, tires, suspension from your Fitment Instagram. And then, you just have a good time. Now, that's all well and dandy there, brother, but there are a few cars on the other side of the fence that are just a little less, well, how do I say this? Maybe just not so good, Now, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, and there are a few Euro cars that we probably shy away from if you want to keep your Saturdays for your boys and Sundays for your weekly ramen run. Still the best at making ramen. Don't at me, okay? I know what it's about, okay? I'm Alex at FI on Instagram, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be talking about some of the worst Euro cars to own and modify. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe so we can keep making banging videos like this, and it helps us, keeps us growing. And of course, if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to check out fitmentindustries.com, where we have an aftermarket car gallery where you can see what wheels and tires actually fit your car, so you don't end up with some good old bunk fitment, because nobody likes that. You don't like it, we don't like it, and you put the wheels on, it looks like you got some pogo sticks for wheels. It's just not a good time, all right? Plus, we mount the tires onto the wheels so you don't have to get judged by that one Sears employee that refuses to mount your 215s on 9-wides. I have been there, and it was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever had to deal with in my entire 17-year-old life. And final disclaimer, we aren't saying that you can't own these cars or that all cars will have these issues. So don't be mad if we bring up a car that you're dying to own. It's not something, we don't want to hurt feelings or anything like that. We're just saying that these are just a little bit more difficult than most, all right? It's just,
they're sensitive boys.
and if you like playing life on hard mode, you do you, boo-boo. One brand that's started to get some serious love, especially in the enthusiast industry right now, from people like you and people like me, would probably be Porsche. Now, the GT3 RS has produced more right now than pretty much ever before. So people are jumping into the 911 platform because they inevitably want to get up to that GT3 RS. And a lot of times people start in a non-turbo model, more specifically a non-turbo 996, 911. Now, they're affordable. They feature a fun and well-balanced engine and platform, but they aren't the best cars to own or modify for a lot of different reasons. IMS bearings in these cars just absolutely grenade randomly, and because the IMS goes out, the engine internals get the debris from that failure, and it requires a full engine teardown to essentially be overall, you strip it, you rebuild it, it's not a good time. The car is decent after repair, but due to it still being a Porsche, the parts are still heavy. They got a tax on them. The non-turbos still have the wonky headlights, and modifying them is pretty rare and usually not worth it too much. Now, they do have some new body kits and things like that, like slant noses and wide bodies that are super cool, but you're still paying a premium price for a car that really is not gonna hold its value. If you're gonna jump into a 911, it's best to jump into a 997.2 because they're probably the best bang for your buck non-turbo platform out there right now in the Porsche community. Plus, it has a lot of modification platforms, wheels and tires and air and all that sort of good stuff that you can have a good time. When you're looking at European cars, a lot of times people start looking at European cars with big engines because you know what? Who doesn't want to say that they own a V12 motor? I mean, people just, it's just a thing. It's so cool.
Lamborghinis have it, okay?
So then you end up looking up the inevitable BMW 760, 750, or even the 8 Series, and just don't do it. The V12s are a behemoth to work on and even worse to keep alive. And sure, they run, they drive. You can brag about it at a local meet, but the moment something goes wrong, it's usually pretty bad, brother. Sure, they'll look good bagged on the ground, wheels, tires, suspension, you know what I'm gonna say, but they won't always treat you right. They just don't do well with modifications outside of aesthetic stuff. These cars are usually exclusive to the one-off fabricators and people that can make things themselves because a lot of the parts and mounts and things like that just aren't really made anymore. But don't let the affordable price fool you. There's a reason these are so affordable. Because they're just not fun to own. They're expensive to keep alive. They're not very repairable. You might be wondering, what am I looking at? I don't know.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Stay away from Jags too while you're at it because those things will your wallet clean up. Next up would be pretty much any Italian supercar. Any maintenance will kill your wallet before you even have the chance to send it into a wall trying to show off. You're way better starting with a platform that accepts modifications on it versus a car that is built already to its own degree of tolerance. A lot of times people are getting super into the supercar stuff right now, especially the totaled ones, because you can jump in there, grab a dealer's license, and buy something off Copart or IAAI. We did that with branded title, and it's just not working out very well for us. But it's still worth a shot if you really want to just give it a give it a risk. I don't know. I don't know what you want. The next car on the list would probably be one that, you know, is tough as well. It's the engine that makes you not really want to enjoy cars, and it's gonna be the N54. Now, BMW did do recalls and a bunch of service things to try and fix the N54 engine, and it's important to remember that the N54 was considered an experiment for BMW, and it did lay the groundwork for the N55, which nearly everyone loves, okay? So I'm prefacing this with that. The disclaimer with that is that the N54 does have a few issues, okay? The high pressure fuel pump goes out, the valve cover oil leaks, okay? You got Vanos solenoids that just decide to give out, water pumps, baby, you know, wastegate rattle, leaking boost with charge pipe failures, and a few others. You know, when you modify your car, you end up shortening the good old reliability window, and when you start with an experimental motor right off the gate, it does end with some sad boy tears, all right? Listen to some X or something while you cry about your N54.
Yeah.
Wheels, tires, suspension, all good there. Modifiable, also yes. However, because of the issues within the N54 engine, specifically in the 335 and other cars, it's a dangerous pick, and definitely one we would recommend you know what you're getting into versus learning about it after you've already bought your 335. Again, if you know your way around an N54, they can be fantastic motors. But if you don't, it's not gonna be fun. Moving over to Mercedes, I mean, there's quite a few interesting cars in their lineup. AMG has become a staple for European power and great looks for a pretty decent price. You want a massive bang for your buck? That's not a V12, AMG. All right, it's the car to get. But some of the early AMGs are a dog to work on and even harder to keep alive. One that comes to mention pretty quick is the early generation E55 AMGs. Pretty much anything before 2002 to 1999. The motors are insane and they're an absolute powerhouse. Unfortunately though, the wiring it's just not as good. Okay, wiring gremlins can plague these extremely tech-happy cars and they are an absolute pain. These seats can cause it, the infotainment can cause it, the car just not turning off can cause it. If you have stuff running from the trunk with your CD player, that can cause it. You can have draws of power randomly pop up and then pop off. I'm not really sure how that works. When I had mine, I found myself stranded more times than I could count because apparently it just didn't want to, you know, kill the battery. If you can find one without the issues, you found a golden ticket. But they do make it difficult to own because solving electrical problems is much different than handling an unreliable or difficult motor. Mostly just because you can like visually see a problem with a motor, or you know what you have to do. With electrical, that's just not fun. And what do you think one of the worst cars to own or modify is? Let us know. And of course, if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you later. Peace.